Greetings, fellow DC superfans. After getting educated in all things DCAU Batman, I've decided it's time to embark on a journey to the Arctic to learn about Superman, the animated series. Aiding me along the way is Blue Dragon 5.
That's right, folks. Like Jarrell, I'm serving as Tiki's pre-recorded guide through Superman the Animated Series, with the goal of shedding light and showing Tiki the way to better understand the history of the Last Son of Krypton.
So let's fly to the Fortress of Recaps to talk Livewire. And Dragon, we got another banger on our hands, man. We got another banger on our hands.
Really?
I really like this a lot.
I was worried you weren't going to like this one. I really thought you
Were
were.
you worried that the personality of Livewire was going to throw me off?
Yes, I was very worried about
Okay, here's
that,
the thing, Dragon. I'm very familiar with shock jocks, all right? So it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like
I knew there was a chance that you might like it, but I didn't think it was going to happen.
She's absolutely unlikable, but she's not supposed to be likable.
Yeah.
And the show does a very good job of that. I feel like they accomplished their goal with her.
All right, good.
So that's where I come down on it. But no, honestly, Dragon, one of the reactions I had to this episode was like, obviously with the pilot, we get all the origin stuff out. The pilot is in a lot of ways kind of like almost could be like a Superman origin movie to a certain extent. I truly do feel like you could use this episode as a pilot, and just because I just think it embodies the character in such a potent way, without like, because we get just enough Lois Lane, to really know the dynamic there. We get a little bit of Jimmy Olsen. We get a great cameo from Lex Luthor, wonderful little cameo there. And most importantly, Dragon, I think this episode has some of the absolute best Superman saving people stuff of the series thus far.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So yeah, I was quite pleased with this one. I wouldn't go as far as to say it was as good as the Jack Kirby-esque episode we got a couple weeks ago. That one I would still say is probably my number one. But at the same time, I probably wouldn't show that episode to someone who's just getting started out with Superman. I'd probably lean. This just feels like such a good, clean entryway into the character. Not using one of the iconic villains, but using a villain who I do think kind of like brings his best qualities into the limelight.
All right. Yeah. So the background on this. So this was directed by the wonderful Kurt Gaeta, who really rose to prominence on Batman Beyond, but he made his bones on Superman the Animated Series. So he did Stolen Memories, the big Brainiac episode, did one of the parts of Last Son, the pilot, and did another Livewire episode, for the new Batman Adventures, Girls' Night Out, which was the
I
trio.
do remember, yeah,
with her, Harley, and Ivy. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we had a writing duo on this. I believe a husband-wife duo, if memory serves. Sarah Dyer and Evan Dorkin. These guys, they worked on, I believe there were some other Superman episodes with them coming up, but beyond that, they did Splicers from Batman Beyond. That was one of their big ones.
Nice.
So studio worked on this. Coco Classic. With some, with some flavor.
I bet you're really proud of that one.
A little bit, just a little bit. With some, some pop rocks of Dong Yang in there, just thrown it. Okay, so they, of course, Coco, Dong Yang house studio for Batman Beyond, and amongst Batman Animated Series, there's many others. Dong Yang being kind of a mainstay. Did Feeding Time, Last Son, and Stolen Memories. So, very much kind of a go-to. Basically, TMS is that's top shelf. And, Coco is old reliable. But still, it's like this is what the show looks like. But when we want to really reach beyond, we bring in TMS. So these are the best studios to get on this. And, this is a thing after, you got to remember, Batman the Animated Series, I know I'm spending too much time talking about the animation studio here, but I want to get in there somewhere.
No, you're good.
The fact that, with the whole thing, we always equate with Breaking Bad to Better Call Saul, and I guess also the pluribus once you've seen that, but basically each show kind of learning the tricks from the other show and kind of getting better as it goes along. As far as from an animation standpoint, Superman has the benefit of Batman was like groundbreaking, and they had to outsource to a lot of studios, and that's why we have the different looks for certain episodes of Batman. And they maintained what consistently turned out really good work. That's why ACOM soon became a thing of the past, because they realized how sucky those episodes were from an animation standpoint.
Right.
But on the flip side, you had Dong Yang did very consistent good work, and that's why they got a whole lot more work in Superman, and then eventually Batman Beyond, and then between the two of them, some Justice League and so on and so forth. And TMS was always like the top studio, but probably busy with all the Animaniacs work. Anyway, so not a lot of background beyond the usual stuff here. Just in the creation of Livewire, a few things to note here. So in the fleshing out and the world building and the show Bible for Superman, Superman's rogues gallery was like the mountain to climb in terms of historically Superman only has like villains you can count on one hand, and beyond that it's men in suits. That's historically how it's been. And obviously with Doomsday not under your belt, because if Doomsday's in the show, he dies and the show's over, or we have to do a whole Death of Superman thing, which My Adventures of Superman might do wonders, but not that I want it anytime soon, but I don't think we can do that here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so this led to the creation of some new foes, much like how Batman the Animated Series created Harley Quinn and Lockup, and and Condiment King, and so on and so forth. So if you listen carefully when I utter the words Condiment King, you can hear Canadians shivering in the distance. Anyway, an inside joke, folks. Anyway, but so the point being, they create a new foe, a la what we did with Harley Quinn. I don't know how intentional it was to create the next Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn was a hugely unprecedented success of Batman the Animated Series, and you got to remember that was a big boon to anyone who creates that character. But unfortunately, DC is still going to own the character, so they don't really get all the royalties and stuff for that. But that's just how character creation goes under the big two. Point being, whether it wasn't that the whole we need a new Harley Quinn was on their minds or not, I like to think they're not going to be we gotta put our stamp on this. I think it was just more what suited the story, and in terms of that, it's very much see a need, fill a need. We need villains who can give Superman trouble, who aren't just the Kryptonite Man from the comics. We can't just we can't just do that. There is a villain called the Kryptonite Man. That's why I name dropped that guy. But so
Geoffs is also mentioning that Superman, just generally speaking, does not have a lot of female villains.
That is also true. We have. Let me put it this way. I can count those on less than one hand. Mercy was an original for the show, so you had Mercy. And beyond Mercy, really, it's if you have to go really deep cuts. You remember, too, Ursa, I want to say Ursa was, created for the Superman movie, so I don't think she even counts either. Anyway, so point being, like Rampage and characters like that, deep cuts. Like Rampage we see in, the Suicide Squad movie before she gets killed off. That kind of, Anyway. Anyway, so the point is see a need, fill a need. We need villains that can give Superman trouble in the kind of the Fletcher Superman route that are not it's not just kryptonite every which way, and it's a character that could measure up to him, or do something that would believably not kill him, but would kind of slow him down, or he'd have to think a way out of it. And that led to the creation of 2 or 3 original villains for Superman the Animated Series. The first one we're talking about here, and about an episode or so from now, we'll get to the other person.
Nice.
So Lori Petty voices, she's our special guest star, playing Livewire.
I looked her up. I don't really know anything. I haven't seen Tank Girl, and I'm assuming that's probably her most famous role.
That was a comp. That's a biggie because that was a comic book movie. Technically, it was like an underground comic of sorts. And but before that, though, I think you've seen.
The only thing I know about Tank Girl is that it's done by the same artist who collaborated with Damon Albarn on Gorillaz, so it's I very much like that guy's art. I just haven't actually, watched the movie itself or know much about it.
It's not much,
or the series.
It's not much. Anyway, the thing that I think we've all seen,
at least.
Yeah, the thing we've seen her all we've all seen her in is A League of Their Own. She was one of the girls in A League of Their Own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just throwing it out there. Also, you and I actually have seen her in something recently, though. I'm sure Kogias or somebody, or Eli, or whoever is watching this, is eager to point out. We have talked about her in Gotham. She was one of the proto Jokers in the big Matches Malone episode. She was the one who kind of encouraged Bruce Wayne to seek revenge on the man that killed his parents. That was
Man,
her.
it's been so long. I honestly don't remember that off the top of my head, but
Anyway. Okay, so
that one.
anyway, so originally this last thing. So originally this was supposed to be in season 1. It was supposed to be early in season 1. So you're not far off with like the whole piloty Bible stuff. I mean, this is something they did. They did come up with her around that time. Originally, like Superman was going to be dealing with like public outcry and misgivings, and that was kind of the root of the episode. And then I think it spun off from like, okay, it's an idea we want to explore. But you kind of got tabled from season 1 to season 2 while they were ruminating on the episodes. Like, well, let's create a new villain that kind of in the show Bible kind of phase. Like, let's create a villain that'll be in trouble. Anyway, there we go.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we So we start with one of our fan favorite characters, Bibbo. Bibbo getting in on the action, listening to the radio, and Dragon Bibbo is not happy about what he's hearing, not at all.
This is classic Bibbo. I completely forgot.
Great. This is great. This is such a good way to open it.
I completely forgot we had a Bibbo moment in this episode. I'm so thrilled about it. So Leslie Willis is the shock jock. She is a shock jock at this radio station who has the Livewire radio show, which basically is an excuse to trash Superman. Of course, this is an idea that even though we still have radio today, but now it's more kind of like podcast, Spotify radio.
I feel like this character is almost kind of like a better version of what the MCU wanted to do of like, oh, J. Jonah Jameson is a podcast host. Like, this essentially is J. Jonah Jameson as a radio host.
Well, yeah. Now, to be fair, the Spider-Man game did the podcast thing. He's actually like a newsman in the MCU.
No, but I'm saying okay. But what I'm trying to say is that like at the end of Spider-Man: Far From Home, we have J. Jonah Jameson, that cameo, and they didn't really do much with J. Jonah Jameson outside of that. And this feels like, what if we actually did something with that idea?
Right. No, for sure. I mean, I was saying it's like relevant today.
I'm sure the video game that idea is executed well. I just unfortunately have not been able to play the video game because they won't port it to Switch.
Have you checked?
Not recently, actually.
There you go.
Anyway, I kind of doubt it. I think I would have heard something.
But I mean, the game's been out since 2018, Tiki. It's possible.
No, I know. It's possible. I'm literally looking right now.
Anyway. What was it? Oh, right. So yeah, it's relevant today because we have like those shock jock kind of. Then it was kind of like the Howard Stern of her day, and nowadays it's kind of more like an Alex Jones kind of thing where you have like like the people like trouncing a specific topic or a person or something, and that kind of thing. So it's a very relevant idea, and I really think that,
if you will.
Yeah. So she trashes Superman on the show all the time, and I love Bibbo. He's fishing, and he hears this. He doesn't appreciate the Superman put downs, and he rushes to like a payphone to make a call.
And tell me that's not just like vintage, just Superman, just in general. Just it doesn't even have to be Clark Kent. Just anyone rushing for a fucking payphone.
Absolutely. Let's see. So this is one of my favorite bits in the whole episode. There's a lot of stuff I was refreshed on this episode because it's been I have a lot of distance with. I remember Livewire's later appearances. I kind of forgot some of the specifics. I know the origin scene. Basically, for me, my memory on this episode was mainly from the concert onward. I kind of forgot about our lead up, and our Act 1 stuff was really good. And we had like Lex listening to the radio show in the limo with Mercy, and just that smile. Lex doesn't have a word of dialogue in this episode, but
it tells you everything you need to know, though, and it's great.
These are the Lex moments I live for.
It's genuinely one of the best Lex moments in the whole series thus far, I think.
Like she's calling Superman garbage and this is like call him garbage and everything. It's just like Lex just smiles, or like I wanted to puke, and Lex just smiles. So Perry White, he's this is great. The bullpen at the Daily Plan is a good Jimmy Perry moment here, where just Jimmy's like holding court with the guys, like eating donuts and like listening to the radio, and Perry just goes over and he's kind of glaring at Jimmy, like he cannot believe his crack news staff are of the Daily Planet listening to this trash on the airwaves when they're supposed to be reporting real journalism. And again, we're doing all this with a single line.
This episode is that it's probably the most we've ever gotten from Perry White so far.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's also great that, again, I know he talks later, like when we have like the typewriter bit, but still, up to this point, though, it's the fact that we are conveying there's a really artfulness to there's an artfulness to how we're conveying a lot of character beats here when they don't say a word of dialogue and she's doing all the talking.
Dragon, I feel like that's something that the show just in general I've picked up on is very strong at. Just these like really quick cutaways with with characters like Luther. We've had some really fun bits with cutting away to Jimmy and Lois just very briefly in the middle of episodes, and that might be the only thing that they do in the whole episode, but it still leaves an impression.
Yeah, I mean, also, what I really like in terms of this episode is we have that, and you're right, serving just kind of the crux of what we've been doing in the show so far, but in this context, Livewire is a chatty Cathy. She's doing being a shock jock. She's doing all the talking, and it's kind of a thing where Superman just desperately wants her to shut up after a while, And you kind of feel it as the audience member.
But again, the difference between her and, fucking Mala is that, like I said, like with her, it's like she's very much, the writing on her character is very much manufactured to be grating and annoying. And like, at the time, like that goddamn Gen Xer, now it would be like that fucking Gen Zer,
Yep.
But no, seriously, I do like that there's kind of like a youthful arrogance to her that I feel like is also very cutting.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's definitely an arrogance of youth quality.
yes, exactly.
We see that later at kind of the show. I mean, I keep wanting to call it a rock concert. I mean, there's a lot of rock and roll music playing, but it's not really a rock concert. If you want to split hairs, she's having her big anniversary thing in the park later. We'll get there. So she's like on the radio, she's saying she's sick of all the coverage Superman's getting. It's just no one's that nice for free. And we have this crane op. I love this bit with the arc with the crane operator that we see. So the crane operator is like listening, like, yeah, he isn't like Superman. He doesn't buy it either. And he's listening with in agreement. So we're at the and this is just a great transition. We're at the WLXL station, and the call-ins begin. Bibbo, he takes up for Superman. Like, I don't appreciate the scurvy remarks you're making about my pal Soups. Of course, Brad Garrett just nailing it.
God bless Brad Garrett.
Yeah, I've been watching it. I've been rewatching a show we can't talk about, and I keep falling.
Oh no, don't mention it. Don't mention it.
I know. Of this, the show that everybody thinks Robert's a cool guy. That show, everyone watch that show.
Yes.
The We Love Robbie show, that one.
Oh God.
Robbie the comedian, not Robbie the robot, but that one. Yeah. So anyway. Doris Roberts is the one who says that, but we can't say anything beyond that, though.
Also, really quick, Kogia says, even I don't remember that in reference to... So you really pulled a deep cut Gotham reference there, Dragon.
I know. Little Blue Productions would absolutely catch that reference, though.
I don't know, man. Is Eli really that big of a Gotham fan?
I think so. If Code Geass isn't, I think he is.
All right.
Just throwing it out there anyway. Okay, let's see. Where's that? All right. Okay, so it's a point being, so then she insults Bibbo, which I can't abide here. She calls Bibbo old and dumb and is basically insulting the guy.
It makes you genuinely dislike her, though. And I feel like the writing is on point for what this episode is trying to do with the character.
Calls Superman the world's strongest con man. So this is great. This is why I was jumping ahead a little bit, but this bit here that call kind of facilitates is while she keeps trashing Superman, you, the audience member who loves Superman, is like, oh man, what's Superman going to think of this? We reveal Clark and Lois are in the waiting room of WLXL, they're waiting to interview her. And I love the pacing and just like how the flow of the episode that we've we've done a lot of montage work. We've established who our new character is, and we're getting to what Superman thinks of all this. And Clark, he takes it in stride because this is great. He knows what shock jocks do. He's not taking it personally. He's like, well, look, she's got an agenda. It's what she's supposed to. She's being paid to say bad things. So she's not a real journalist. That's our job. So he's not bothered by it, which is classic Superman. He's trying to let it roll off his back. Lois, she looks forward to kind of putting her in her place. However, not on the air. Her agent Sid, or her boss at the station, Sid, puts her, basically says, "Oh yeah, change in plan. Leslie wants to do the interview on the air," which instantly is a bad idea whenever that happens. It's pretty much an ambush interview. If I were a betting man, I would say, based on what happens, Leslie set up her interview with Lois solely to switch it on her, get her on the show, and basically ambush Superman's love interest. I'm pretty sure that's why she did all this.
Oh yeah.
So she sets up the interview, and she's like going to Lois, asking, "What's about your relationship with Superman?" He says, "Excuse me, what are you talking about?" This is like, just how exclusive are you two? Which is clever. I like the whole I don't know. I thought the exclusive thing was cute. Anyway, so I crack up seeing how uncomfortable Clark Kent is, because he's wondering. I wonder what Lois is going to say. He's a little nervous in this scene. Like, wow. I get to be party to seeing what she thinks of Superman here. This is not the position to be in right now. And Lois, of course, she's not entertaining it. This says, "I guess we'll never know if his PJs have S's on them too," which is again for kids W&B. Again, they're going for it. They're the implication that she's saying she's there the morning after. I don't know.
But then, I'm sorry, Dragon. I'm just kind of waiting for the big montage element of this scene to kick into high gear here.
Oh yeah, well it's almost there. It's almost there. Let's see. Okay, so here it begins. Here. Okay, so while this is happening, we have the jerk crane operator. He's in peril. There's an accident that occurs. There's some really fantastic editing here, and I love the start of it, which then gets to the montage. So, crane operator is in peril because he's dropped like a beam or something, which basically is like starting to tip the crane over and everything. Superman, he's in the interview. He hears this, and they use the X-ray vision. He sees it out the window. Actually, is there a window, or does he use the X-ray vision?
I think it's a window. I'd have to go back and check.
I think it's a window too. I don't think he had to work that hard for it. I think he just looked outside. Oh crap, that's bad. He hears it. He turns there. And am I boring you, Mr. Kent? And here's a vote for. I think we have two contenders. We have two really good contenders for this episode. This is the first one for me. Am I boring you, Mr. Kent? As a matter of fact, you are. And he storms out.
That one's good. I think I have another one.
We might have the same one later, but we'll see. It might be might be the other one.
Okay.
But yeah, this is great. This is a classic Superman. He finds a really cool way to exit the room.
Is honest to God like maybe one of the most quintessential Superman sequences I've ever seen in any form of media. I'm not even like, I don't know if I'm being hyperbolic when I say that, but like I just genuinely think that everything about it just really, really does its job. Like I think just the contrast between what the shock jock interview, the bouncing back and forth of like, oh, Superman only cares about himself, and all that stuff. It's just the editing is so on point. We got Superman saving people, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm just kind of head over heels for the sequence.
There's a lot to unpack with this, I guess, momentarily. Again, I like that when he leaves for the sequence, we have like the dartboard Superman's, like all the darts and Superman's clipping as like Clark. It's like his shadow is on the thing as he leaves. It's a really great like duality kind of thing we're visualizing there as he leaves, and then she just goes on to like Lois is asking, okay, what do you have against Superman? She lists out the three things, and we cut between the three things that are happening, and this. I'm convinced they got the idea for this from the Pretty Poison episode of Batman the Animated Series. That episode opened with Pretty Poison's like one of the underrated episodes of Batman the Animated Series, because that was one of the episodes that gave us Harvey Dent Beyond episodes when he was Two-Face. Uh-huh. And the opening of that episode was he's on the date with Pamela Isley, and Bruce Bruce Wayne is running late, and he's talking about his friendship with Bruce, and we have all. It's more gag centric.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, old Bruce, he gets his kicks, and we see him like kicking the thug on the roof. We're seeing all the stuff that's like it's like Harvey's glowing recommendation about Bruce Wayne to Batman's like, anyway, who are you? I'm your worst nightmare, kind of a thing. Anyway, so we do something similar here, but this is great. It's even more like ambitious what we're doing here. So he's never around when you need him. And this is great. It's great because we're showing how wrong and how full of it she really is with all the crap that she's putting out there. So we, the audience, can see plainly. Okay, Superman. There's no truth to it all. What she's saying.
I mean, as if we in the audience needed it. Yeah. Like it's just it's not even like a hey, guess what, audience? This is what It's more just kind of like a. Like we're reaffirming it more than anything else, if that makes sense.
Well, not just us, the audience, but also like the listener, the audience. Like
right. You're right. Yeah.
Showing what they, But you're right, Danny. Yeah, we know, but it's like nice to visually reaffirm it too in a fun way. So sort of show don't tell kind of a thing. Even though I know there's a lot of telling, but still, still he's never around when you need him. Superman, he's saving the initial again. He has an arc, but the initially ungrateful Crane guy. 2, everything's there's a meta context to this as well. These were like the writer complaints or like the fan complaints for years of Superman. The whole thing of like everything's just so darn easy for him, which is basically like the mantra carved on the writer's room wall. Like this is what we have to disprove.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which number 2 here. This is what I love. This part. Okay, he's saving the guy. He has to catch the crane, kind of Donner style, like when he's holding Lois, and he has to catch the helicopter. Only difference is it's a lot heavier than the helicopter, and it's a little more rickety. And he's holding the crane from like the breakable part. Mm-hmm. And it's the Fleischer Superman physics of okay, this guy can do anything, but maybe grabbing onto everything's not so easy. Especially when you only have one arm to catch the heavy crane. You're holding the other guy because if you use both arms, the other guy's going to fall to his death, and the crane's going to crush everyone. Like these are Superman problems I live for, mind you.
Totally.
You got a crowd of people underneath freaking out, and then just to add insult to injury, they put this in here for kind of a meta laugh. We have the "my baby" cliche happen.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. I love it.
The mother and a baby.
Of course, when I was watching this, I kind of like my mind kind of flashed to the Flash a little bit. Like, oh boy, like this is so much better than what they did in the fucking Flash movie. Sorry, Kogios.
Yeah, didn't have to save this baby with a microwave.
At least these babies look like they're actual babies. I'm so sorry.
Anyway, so.
That was a very half-hearted insult.
Yeah.
You really didn't commit to that one.
No, you didn't. You really didn't.
Right, anyways.
Anyway, so we have the "my baby," like a woman loses her baby, like right under the crane. Uh-huh. So 3rd, all he cares about is himself. Ergo, Superman saves the operator, the mom, and the baby from the fallen crane, and it's great.
Oh yeah.
Testament to all things Superman, and he flies off not getting the press or the glory. That's the kind of guy he is, a Superman, if you will. So she advertises her Centennial Park anniversary bash, de facto kind of fire and/or rock concert, or whatever you want to call it.
Music festival thing? ?
Yep. So then they're off the air, and Lois. What?
Sorry, I said that's not a thing.
It's not a thing. All right, so they're off the air. Lois asks her kind of like off the record question. You're like, what are you just doing this for ratings? And which then leads to the real talk of like what's your beef with Superman? And it's that he does. Basically, she has to do things louder. She has to be louder and sharper than any man to get anywhere in her field. And it's not handed to her like it is Superman. So some jealousy of Superman, but also he's the biggest target. So I like that. It's like we kind of show that it's not deeply personal, but it's like the guy kind of symbolizes what I'm up against here in the industry. So I don't care that I'm taking shots. He's she doesn't care, but then again, she's definitely not respectful to him. Attitude pays the bills. That attitude, it pays the bills. Then there's a lightning storm in the back. I like that we set up the lightning storm. It's coming. Mother Nature doesn't like how
Generally
she's treating
speaking, I think
Superman.
this episode has a really, really great kind of like split down the middle as far as its acts go.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
Because Act One is all about just setting up the character, and then of course Act Two is like, okay, now we have to deal with the actual supervillain Livewire of it all. Very, very clean break that way, I think.
Yeah, so we had the Livewire show celebration, which it's basically like a rock concert in the rain. There's like bands and stuff, and I think the idea is like, to me, it feels like she's
acknowledge it,
right. Basically, from the looks, if you really look on stage for the brief bit that we get during the storm, it's kind of like a literal 3-ring circus going on there. It feels very Howard Stern-esque in terms of like, you have like a guy in a Superman costume with a dollar sign for the S, and we have like a circus strongman. So it seems like she's just making a mockery of Superman, like it's kind of like Howard Stern's ridiculous like side, like he'd have the girls in the studio doing ridiculous or saucy things, that kind of, feels kind of like that, but on like a public kind of stage, but with rock. It has like rock and roll music playing throughout the whole thing, which by Livewire's score has very, a lot of rock built into it, which kind of we first started with Lobo, and we're kind of bringing back.
Sure.
And again, the only reason I call that because we don't get Batman Beyond without that experimentation. We don't get the whole Batman Beyond synth and electronic kind of, we don't get that.
What else I kind of like about that though is that, like, I feel like, yes, we do get a lot of good score in this episode for Livewire. It is a good kind of like new character score, but at the same time, importantly, I feel like we really do get a lot of the classic, like da 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 da.
Of course, yeah.
And so I think it's just generally speaking, just a really great mix.
Yep, and James Gunn's like in the corner, like taking notes, like, okay, rock and roll, guitar music, Superman theme. It's like, John, get in here. We gotta work, man. We get it. Rocket's sad. Okay, we gotta talk Superman now. All right, so there's a lot of chaos going on. Superman, she can't believe this didn't get canceled due to the storm. If you look at it, it's a really bad storm that's happening. It's like a giant metal thing in the park surrounded by people. This thing's like a lightning rod, man. It's not good. Mm-hmm. So the police arrive theologically to shut it down, for safety concerns. And Leslie, very irresponsibly, she's making the cops out to be the bad guys, literally raining on the parade here. And for some reason, they all have eggs, and they pelt the cops with eggs. Just why do they have eggs? But
because they're all big fans of The Land Before Time 2, The Great Valley Adventure, where the main dinosaur villain dragon, all he wants is to eat eggs. That's why they all have eggs.
Do you feel good about that reference, Tiki?
I absolutely feel fucking good about that reference.
Okay.
When I wake up, first thing I do... eggs. All right.
See, I would have gone with eggheads in the crowd, but that's good too. Okay,
it's my turn to hold the egg. All right.
Anyway, Vincent Price affinity aside. So Superman arrives. I want to talk about this. Superman arrives, and how do you read this? I read this as kind of Superman made a rookie mistake where he should have let the cops de-escalate the situation. But I don't know. I mean, do you think it's a rookie mistake, or do you think it's like he's doing this? He knows this is not going to go up. It's for the greater good, even if he has to give her 15 minutes of fame for like yelling at Superman on stage. Like, how do you read it?
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good question. I think I don't know, man. I think that definitely I feel like generally speaking, one of the points of the episode is that like I said, it's just this is very much kind of like Superman kind of dealing with like the arrogance of youth. It really is that, and he's just not used to it. He's just not used to someone this fucking cocky.
Yeah. So he shows up, and I like that Superman. He's just
even Luthor, for as fucking maniacal as he is, has moments of humility to him. You know what I mean? Like Luthor can admit when he's done something wrong, and this girl clearly fucking can't.
Oh, for sure. I mean, look, Lex he'll never admit it in a court of law, but he'll say it.
Exactly. So I think that's the difference between the two, and I think that might be what throws Clark off.
Yeah. So Superman, he's very upset that she's putting everyone in danger, and very perennially he kind of calls her out on this, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then she's like, yeah, sparking back at him here, like, you know, I'm ringmaster of this circus. I tell the clowns what to do, and not to do. Anyway, so she basically, anyway, so we have this. I got to admit, I love the episode's great, but I have one animation gripe. I think I don't know. I don't know who's to blame for it. I don't know if it's the studio. I don't know if it's like just in the boards. I don't know what happened, but I want to know if you were weirded out by this as much as I was. Probably not. But I'm just gonna throw it out there anyway. So she's yelling at Superman. The lightning storm's bad, and so the lightning hits. But if you look right before the lightning hits, we have her look just kind of standing, like in the foreground, just kind of looking like kind of dazed, like yeah.
Okay, yeah, no. Okay, I'm really glad you caught this because I kind of clocked the same thing. Yeah, it is very weird. It's very much just kind of like she's almost sort of like, well, you kind of asked for it, lady. You know,
it's
like
kind of weird.
Point, you're clearly not getting out of the way.
It's weird because three things happen. Okay, we have the shot where she's standing there and Superman's there and he's trying to get to her. Okay, then he does get to her. He does save her, in fact, even though for some reason she's just randomly now standing there, just like watching his like lightning strike and just kind of waiting for it, which already is weird. Superman gets her out of the way. He's grabbing on. He's taking the lightning, which is great, and that's important because that shows that he is making an active effort to save her, and he's taking the brunt of it. And then she still gets hit with it anyway by the recoil on the lightning. So I like how that happens. It's just weird that it looks. I don't know. It's just like, do you think we should have like just had her full on just be hit by it because she's like in the weird?
Yeah, I mean, look, I kind of feel like the episode, like this may be one of the bigger flaws with the writing of the episode. Which again, I feel like generally speaking, I think the writing in this episode is very strong. But I would say one of the flaws with the writing of the episode is that we just kind of have this thing where we're meant to set up the public discourse with Superman, and this is meant to be like he kind of inadvertently caused this. But I think the problem is that outside of like just the first scene or two where the crowd's kind of like, hey, Superman, why do you push her? We don't really explore that all that much. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like they did it with the intention of exploring like the public tension with Superman more than they actually had room to do that. Am I making sense?
No, I get you. I think we tee it up pretty well, and then we have a throwaway line about it at the very end. But you're right; it's like there's something rich there that we could explore, but we get a little distracted with Supervillain. It's not that it's bad Supervillain; it's just like there's not enough time.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, so point being though, I mean, it feels like it's kind of like I don't know if you'd call it like a fun kind of misdirect or not, where it's like, okay, traditionally like, okay, she would just be struck by the lightning that she's stupidly standing by, but Superman saving her, he tries to save her, very clearly saves her, but she started all this, she didn't clear everyone else, she's doing some irresponsible stuff, she gets hit by the lightning recoil because she's standing right next to him, she's like walking away. It's like she caused all this, and it's kind of karma getting back at her.
Right.
So struck by lightning. The effect of her getting hit by the lightning and turned to Livewire is really cool looking, though.
It is for sure.
Looks neat. Anyway, okay, so Superman. I like the horror on Superman's face where he does feel like, oh no, and he flies her.
Dragon. That's one of my favorite fucking beats of the whole episode. Is that one little like? That's kind of like the same sort of like non-verbal animation. Like, I'm not saying it's as good as this, because the example I'm about to cite is probably like the the god tier example, but it's little moments like when Stoic realizes how much he fucked up with Hiccup, that moment.
For the Stoic comparison, but yes. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. It does kind of remind me of it though, just a little bit, where it's like, just Superman, it's like in spite of everything, he's still just a genuinely just good-hearted guy, and he cares about people. And so in that moment, he, like, the whole idea of this lady sort of being his enemy or whatever is kind of off the table. He just cares about a person being in danger.
Yeah, I mean, he's flying his biggest distractor to the hospital, It's a miracle that she's alive, as he's talking to the doctor. It's a miracle she's alive. Somehow she survived. And but again, also it's the idea like it's kind of the all these powers and I couldn't even save her idea in terms of like I saved her, but she still got struck by lightning. You know, it's like Superman just can't win. He's being yelled at for just saving people, and they try saving people because they're stupid and can't get out of the way. Maybe not have a concert in a lightning storm. You know,
right.
Anyway. So he's at the hospital telling the doctor, says, "Miracle, she's alive," and said, "This is a really good scene. This is where the impetus for the episode really was. I want to say." So the press, not Lois, but everyone, so the press grills Superman over. Did you let her get hit by lightning? And I mean, the animation. Again, I feel like I said earlier, the animation hurt the story point just slightly from that bit earlier. She's like looking very stupidly at the lightning that's about to strike. But aside from that, though, I love this idea of Superman being grilled, and like the reporter said, there's grilling him like that. And then we have my vote for the other Daily Tim. Is this your moment?
Yep, it is. It is.
Okay, good. We're on this. I did everything I could to save her. Everything, and he leaves. Yep. He's very offended by it.
Also, honorable mention to when she's in the hospital, like right when Superman takes her to the hospital, and the nurse is like, "Well, it looks like she's going to be okay," and Superman's just like, "Oh, terrific." Like that's kind of like the comedic Daily Tim, but this is like the pathos Daily Tim, if you will.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, Superman he's just so hurt by the fact that they think that he did this intentionally. He didn't save her in time because, well, she did say a lot of bad stuff about you on the raid, and he's just so offended by that notion that it's just, look, I did everything. The way he emphasizes, I did everything I could to save her. Everything. The way he says everything at the end there, that's why it's the Daily Tim. Right there, kids.
Sure.
All right. So Livewire, of course, upon hearing this on like the TV, which apparently is a live broadcast somehow. But again, that's a we don't care right there. It's a we don't care by definition.
Right.
There can be live news coverage. You don't know anyway. So Livewire blames Superman. Shocking. I know, right? She blames Superman. So in a fit, she discovers she has new powers. She has electricity, and kind of lightning powers, and she instantly misuses them. And again, with the show Bible, with all the villains of the show, even the recognizable ones, the impetus is, power corrupt. Like Superman wields his power responsibly. Every other character in the show, the other villains, they wield it. It's a person who shouldn't have this kind of power, and that's kind of what we have here. It's in the corrupting influence of the newfound power. In her case, it's like somebody who talks a big game, has no responsibility, the arrogance of youth, last person you want to have, to have like these very strong abilities. All right, so she wreaks havoc on the oddly neon heavy district of Metropolis. It looks nice. Look, I mean, here's the thing: it's just a lot of really nice signage.
It's my vibe.
Sure.
No, seriously, I joke, but like that's probably like part of her logic for choosing this specific area of Metropolis. It's like, oh, it's all neon and glowy, yeah. I don't know.
I was thinking more of like, hey, the electricity, I could wreak havoc via the electricity in this section.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah. I'm
just saying that with that, to emphasize that, they had to add a lot of signage and neon, and I mean, it's a little Vegas for Metropolis, but I like it. It looks nice. It's old. You're going for like old. It's like an old 50s look for Metropolis, but it's kind of a weird hybrid of like, kind of like the 50s along with the futurism. So I guess it kind of works. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Superman's on the scene, and she forms a new costume. She forms like her outfit with like, I think it's like made from ionic energy, I think. So Superman wants to get her help. Classic Superman here says, "Look, we got to get you help," and she's like, "Oh no, she doesn't need help. She likes all this power," and she zaps Superman. Which again, kind of the Flusher logic is that the electricity won't kill him, but it ain't gonna tickle. It's like Mr. Incredible getting hit by the train. He'll survive it, but it's still a train.
Right. That's a good comparison. Yeah.
So we have This is funny. So when we have like basically our title image, our little thumbnail image on the episode here. I really like this because unfortunately we couldn't showcase it like the way I wanted to. But the image we have is still pretty good. But right before that, zoom in. She's on the Soder. So Soder is like it's a deep cut Superman. Soder is like I think Gil Kane came up with like the signage and the backgrounds of DC comics and particularly Superman comics, and they had like their brand of soda because they couldn't just say Coca-Cola or anything. It was like Soder.
Oh God!
And it's a running gag throughout the DCAU and all over. So like Bibbo loves.
I've definitely seen it before. Yeah.
Like Bibbo was the main guy who coined like the Soder thing. I always thought he was literally the one who coined it, but again, it's a background gag as a running gag. So anyway, so she's like on like the can of Soder. So she's beamed into like the screen at Times Square essentially as she's taunting Superman, and she blacks out the city. So it's a good act break.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so for Act 3, we're lights out the Daily Planet. You know, Perry gets nostalgic as he brings out a typewriter. And Lois is like, "Oh yeah, I remember 10 miles. You walk 10 miles in your bare feet."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just good. Lois. Jimmy's there. Jimmy doesn't say anything, but he's there.
Jimmy's got a very understated presence in the episode, but I feel like he definitely adds something to it, like he always does. Absolutely. I feel like the show that's a pretty consistent thing with Jimmy. Actually, is that the show knows how to use him in small doses, but really get their best use out of him.
You gotta remember before the ad, obviously there's a temptation to always use a My Adventures with Superman comparison. Clearly, that show they do a lot with Jimmy Olsen, which is great. I love what we do with Jimmy Olsen there.
But honestly, as good as that Jimmy Olsen is, Dragon, it's not Coca-Cola classic Jimmy Olsen.
And that's my point. So this is representative kind of what the era of Jimmy Olsen was, where Jimmy Olsen was like the side character, but side character. We can't do a lot with Jimmy because if we do a lot with Jimmy, then we're full on going like the 50s era Jimmy Olsen, which was Jimmy was all over the place. It was like a new freak of the week thing with Jimmy Olsen. He was always up to something. He was getting wrapped up in something. That's the running gag with Jimmy Olsen. So they did the 90s version of Jimmy Olsen, which is like, let's do like kind of the cooler, tamer version of Jimmy Olsen, which basically is kind of what we've worked, kind of the less G. Wilkers Jimmy, but still he's there and he's beloved. So that's kind of the idea. He's still the young kind of.
And then Zack Snyder went in the total like opposite direction of like, what if he was a military guy who instantly gets killed?
Let's try and fail to gender swap, and when everyone hates it, then we're gonna do. No, it's like we're gonna try and fail at gender swapping, Jimmy, and then we're just gonna like when we know everyone's gonna complain about it, we're just gonna kill them off, just to tick everyone off. That's what his plan was.
Of all the fucking shit in the Snyderverse, man, that might be the single worst decision.
I'm gonna not worse. Here's what I'm gonna throw. Okay, it's the meanest decision. I think that's
without a doubt. Yes, without a doubt, it is absolutely the most mean-spirited decision.
He could. Here's the thing. I will even give him. Okay, look, you screwed up with Jimmy Olsen. You do Jimmy Olsen. You make him like a spy or something that works with Lois Lane. Oh, you know what?
I'll take that.
Because that's the thing. Here's the thing, okay? I want to be very clear about this, okay? Jimmy is a versatile character. That's what the 50s were all about. Jimmy could do anything. That was the whole point. As in, so long as he just feels a little like Jimmy Olsen, it's like Batman. You can put him in any situation so long as there's still a likable, kind of like little redheaded guy there. But it's just... No, we're gonna give you that, and then we're gonna put one right between his eyes. That's what we're gonna do.
Like 2017, with the way we're podcasting about this right now.
Anyway, so what is it? Oh, right, okay. So it's lights out the Daily Planet. They're working on the story. Livewire is holding the city hostage to glamorize herself and to hog all the attention, which leads to this really great gag where like she's printing herself off as like a flip book on the fax machine, and like she zaps poor Bibbo when he's just trying to like change the channel. Don't touch that down, zaps him. Like Bibbo can't catch a break. So this is great. She's literally the idea you can't turn her off. It's like, oh my god, that she's going to annoy the people of Metropolis to death. Oh my god.
She's basically a troll, which I find like, and that's why, yeah, she is absolutely unlikable, but I definitely feel like the writers have, really hit their goal there with what she is as a character.
She was like the hotter version of the Noid.
Yes, Dragon. Yes. That genuinely sounds like a Doug Walker comparison right there. This is like the Noid, but hot.
Give me a little more credit than that.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I didn't make you wait through a bad self-promotion before I got to that joke.
God.
Anyway, okay, let's see. So, anyway, so, well, Bedlam's happening here. Superman's helping the people on the roads and everything because all the traffic lights are out and it's chaos and in a blackout. Which I love when in superhero comics and superhero stories we acknowledge the danger of the blackout. Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Scott Snyder did excellent stuff with Batman bringing order to a blackout. Dark Knight Returns, similarly. Amazing Spider-Man 2, varying results.
Not so much. Like Simpsons color tug.
I bring that up because we kind of do the Amazing Spider-Man thing a lot better here. Where now, mind this is something Spider-Man could never do. So, but it's something we never really need to do with Spider-Man. So, anyway, these two planes. There's no Mr. Margolis directing the air traffic control towers. Here.
Oh no!
Then again,
this is what was actually going on in the Breaking Bad scene.
Yeah. Well, then again, maybe there is. Maybe he is there, but he's just not doing his job.
It was Superman's fault all along. Dragon Walter White had nothing to do with it. Superman just wasn't good enough at his job.
So these planes have no air traffic controls coming in because Livewire's just talking.
What if someone edits the footage? I'm sorry, really quick. What if someone edits the the scene of the plane crash, but just has a little Superman zooming off in the distance?
Or just has Livewire talking over it, and that's
there we go.
Another thing, I love that. Again, Livewire is so irresponsible. She's hogging all the
What if the scenario? One more. I'm so sorry. What if the scenario on that plane was basically the Homelander situation?
Oh God. and Mr. Margolis got blamed for it.
Yes.
He was the fall. He was Vaught's fall guy. No, here's the thing, okay? It's just to make it even worse, okay? Vaught spiked the drugs.
Yep.
Really made her overdose or something. There's that's like they went that far to make as the perfect cover story.
Oh man! All right.
Mr. Margolis is saying, but no, Jane was fine. I talked to her last night before she said she was going, to stay with her junkie boyfriend, and then he. Anyway.
All right, Breaking Bad, The Boys, same cinematic universe confirmed. Anyways.
Okay, anyway, so like I was saying, it's very irresponsible of her to hog all the airwaves, in which she's going to endanger all these people, and these planes are about to collide into each other. And Superman, thank goodness, he lifts one of them at the last second, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Does a great Superman save.
Yeah, lots of good.
Also, you'll notice there's a subtle arc I want to point out, by the way, and you're going to be seeing the payoff of it. So far, this is the second time we've done. There's a third time coming up. Okay. Superman is getting better at saving planes because remember, in the pilot, we end with I guess the last Son of Krypton. We had his first rough landing with his first plane catch, and this is the second he's lifted a plane out of harm's way, and there is another big one coming up. So
all right. I will take note of that.
He is getting better at landing the planes. Okay, so Superman's busy.
The angry video game nerd.
Yeah?
I'm just going to let that reference sit for anyone who actually gets it. Angry video game nerd, not good at landing planes. All right, anyways, let's move on.
Okay, anyway. So, Superman saves the planes from near collision. Let's see. So, yeah. All right. So Livewire is saying, make your checks out to me for the cable and the electric company instead of the cable and the electric company. It's like that's I'm controlling this. I'm controlling everything here. Yada yada. then her screen starts to fritz out, and she kind of like bids everyone like a temporary farewell. And Superman has that smile. He's got a plan. He's got a pretty crafty plan. That Superman.
Oh yeah.
And I love this. I love it again. Super smart, super intelligent. So he goes to the hydroelectric dam in Metropolis, where she's about to feed, and Superman is there waiting for her. He's got okay. There's an animation mistake. Look, I want to be clear. I love Dong Yang and Coco. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying this happens. It's happened to the greats. There are sometimes there are animation inconsistencies. If you really pay attention to this scene, the glove continuity on Superman is not great.
I didn't notice any continuity issues. All I noticed is that I really love the design of the gloves. That's all.
Oh yeah, the gloves look great. They look great, but if you notice, he's wearing them and then he puts them on. He's already wearing them, Superman. Why are you putting them on? Then later on, it's like he's getting zapped. Gloves are gone, but his hands.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. I can see that.
Anyway, but again,
seriously though, I do love the design of the gloves.
Yeah, he's got these rubber gloves, and he's got like I don't know if it's just rope or I don't know if it's rubber tubing or if it's like a cable. I think it's cable, but it could be like orange rubber tube. The point being, he's got a cable or a rope of some kind that will not, that'll hold an electrical creature. So he figured out, he Scooby-Dooed this. He figured out that she needed, that she needed to recharge here, hence the gloves, and he knows. They get into a scuffle here as he's keeping her away from re-upping her battery. The electricity won't hurt him; it won't kill Superman, but like the flesh of Superman, it holds him back a little. It's making for a good fight, some good action, some good fighty fight, zappy zap. Wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, he tosses her outside, and Superman, he's kind of straining here, and she's zapping the crap out of him. And he kind of, I don't know how intentional it is, but I think he does it intentionally, but it could be an accident. I don't know what your take on it is, but she kind of blasts the dam and shorts herself out.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost kind of like one of those Batman, like, I don't have to save you, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. Like, I think Superman, my read on it is that he pretty much knew what she was going to do. He probably figured it wouldn't kill her either. And so he was like, all right, I'm just going to let her kind of make her own bed and lie in it, essentially.
I mean, he threw her out. He got her outside, which implies to me the dam was part of his plan. I mean, there was a chance he just wanted to get her away from the power supply too. So I mean, it could go either way, but maybe it's a little bit of both. And I think maybe he knew like, okay, if I can't get her away from the thing and she's going to head back in, I got to douse her.
Sure.
But again, he saves her though. Right after that, he finds her and he sees her there and he gets her help and everything. Then we have our coda. We have a really nice coda here. So the radio comes on full circle. Like we opened with the radio, we have the radio going on. Metropolis still debating the Livewire, Superman affair, where they're asking if Superman had anything to do with this, ultimately, the creation of Livewire and everything. And, it's now we can ask Livewire, and we reveal that it was really sweet of that Mr. Luthor to pay for her care, even though she was a maniac. I love that, again, Lex, barely a minute in the episode, doesn't say a line, but there's the presence.
But he got his impact for sure. Yeah.
I love the fact. I just love the fact that Lex... He appreciated that somebody was talking crap about Superman, and he paid it forward. I just love that. I love that. Just that one smile. That's what the payoff was. I like this Livewire, and he paid. Now, mind you, it's Lex. He's probably going to try and use her. At least, I think the intent was, I could use her for my own devices later on down the line to go up against Superman. That's maybe why he's doing it. But even so,
of course, yeah.
I honestly, I don't think he does. There's a chance that he facilitated the next Livewire episode that I'm just not remembering, but I don't think he has anything to do with that. Regardless, it's an idea. It's a headcanon. I don't know. He had ideas. He had plans. Who knows?
I'm an idea.
No, that's the clown.
Sorry.
All right.
Very reckless heavy episode tonight for some reason.
Oh, for sure. And then this one guy says, I'll say one thing that, she really knew how to shake things up. And then like we see her eyes kind of light up, and I like the eyes light up from the adulation. Like again, Superman doesn't need the glory; she lives for the glory.
Low key, I really found that to be like a low key kind of powerful ending. Honestly,
yeah.
Like you don't necessarily feel sorry for her, but you do kind of see the humanity in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, she wanted attention. That's the thing. She did all this for essentially attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, we can't say she did it for the right reasons, obviously, but you know, it's the fact that it's like we all deep down, like man, you want to feel, you know, kind of. I don't know what the right word here is, but I mean, I guess it's not just seeking attention, but validate. I guess validate or appreciate or something. I don't know. You want to feel this kind of a, you know, kind of something. All right,
sure.
That's the episode.
All right. Well, yeah, like I said, Dragon, I would probably put this at least in my top 5, I would say, of the whole series so far. Like, I feel like this is just like a really, really excellent, just kind of like encapsulation on what this series is. It's a really good example of a very effective new villain. Lots of awesome Superman saving people stuff. Really, really good use of the side characters. Awesome use of Lex in less than a minute of screen time. Great music, great action, great Superman saving people stuff. Genuinely just fucking one of the best episodes, just all around.
All right. I'm sorry, let me say this. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think I had a great appreciation for the episode and the rewatch with what we're doing. You know, I liked it. I thought I really liked our execution on this one in terms of the setup and payoff, and it was certainly a fun one. And I mean, look, let's be honest, Livewire. I'm glad she made the cut. And again, like Kogias was saying, something add a little diversity in the Superman Rogues Gallery, let alone just add more Rogues Gallery to him. Add more characters to him. And clearly, Livewire stuck around. We have her in My Adventures even, so there's an affinity. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's quite the Harley Quinn that some people may have.
I don't think she's aiming to be Harley Quinn.
No, she's not though, and that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't think was the intent.
Like honestly, I feel like one of the big core components of Harley Quinn as a character is her, the sympathy that you feel for her, like how deep of a character she is, and this character is not deep. This character is very much just like she is very unlikable, but again, very effectively unlikable, which is a big difference from that and what they did with Harley.
Yeah. But yeah, it was again, it's a solid episode. I don't know in the tones of Superman if I don't think it's ever gonna make my top 5, but it's good. It's really it's a quality episode.
Well, now keep in mind, I'm saying top 5 just based on what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind as far when I say top 5.
And you haven't even gotten to the big guns yet.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all relative. It's all relative.
Off the top of my head, you got like 3 big guns like coming up rather soon. So
Well, I know that the next episode is an introduction of a pretty fucking significant
character. Oh yeah.
Let's go ahead and get into that, Dragon.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive. It'll leap tall buildings in a single bound. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Saving Clark Kent from a precarious fall. Superman uncovering Lex Luthor's sci-fi Frankenstein plot. Superman battling a bizarre doppelganger.
On the next visit to the Fortress of Recaps with Identity Crisis.
Shocking, ain't it?